Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. I am a little frustrated today. A little behind today. Very behind today. Been behind since Wilma, or since Irma. And I have not posted anywhere that I'm streaming because I ran out of time. So let me know if you're here. Anybody's here. Today is Anything Goes book. Trying to get that done. I just wanted to waste a little time here in the beginning, so that if, hi Debbie, hi Ann, that if YouTube cuts off the beginning again, I won't be all cut off. So I'm just kind of doing some stuff. I'm so behind in getting collage packs out. I moved all my stuff to the living room because I thought I would lose this window here in the storm. And I have yet to find everything. I don't know where everything is. And I spend quite a bit of time trying to find the painted papers and things. And so I'm a little frustrated with that. Hello, Penny. Hello, Yvonne. So I am working like crazy, get stuff out, and it doesn't seem like I'm getting anywhere. So please excuse me. I've got so many things that I'm trying to do all at one time, and I'm not getting any of them done very well. So I tried to contact the internet company to see if my internet could be fixed and all, and they won't even take my calls. They are so swamped with trying to get other people's internet up and running. So I will get in contact with them as soon as I can. And I'm just hoping that the recordings have been horrible. I understand that they've been horrible, and I'm trying to work on the situation. So let me know, you guys, are you buffering? Is it really bad right now? What's going on? And we will get started with Anything Goes. Yeah, I'm not my happy-go-lucky kind of person. I am just completely overwhelmed. And I feel like I'm running around in a circle, you know, chasing my tail and going as fast as I can. And at the end of the day, nothing has happened. So I am going like crazy. Hello. Hi, Emma and Nalisha. Nalisha, is that right? So I am trying to get painted papers down. I can't find painted papers. I can't figure out what I did with them. So I have to redo them, which takes quite a bit of time. And that is my holdup here. So, Nalisha, it's out of sync again. Really? It's out of sync. It's just so frustrating for me. It's so frustrating. No matter what I seem to do, it just It's so frustrating for me. And I probably should have got some more iced tea. I'm almost done with this one. Hi, Luana. Did I say hi? I'm completely, my brain is going in a million different directions at one time, and I'm having some difficulties. So, Zen moment here, out of sync for you too. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Like I said, I was on trying to get internet. Hi, my fairy treasures. Trying to get them to talk to me, and they're so busy with other people, they wouldn't even take the call. So I'm gonna have to. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go ahead and live stream today. I might not stream for very long if you guys are having such a horrible time. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for you. It's hard to watch the recordings. I understand all that stuff. It's hard to watch a recording when the movements don't match the sound. It's hard to watch when the video is just so jerky you can't see what's going on. I understand that, and I am doing everything I can at this point to get this fixed because I am. Okay. So some people are not having any problems, and some people are. I'm just going to continue. The recording's going to be horrible, like it has been. Hi, Tammy. You can see me fine for a change. You can see. I've been doing tests, and I guess I should be doing stuff while I talk. Today, we're going to do the Anything Goes book. And what I'm planning on doing, since the recordings are so horrible, I will make a video tomorrow covering the same things that we're covering today in video form, and that shouldn't be all jumpy and stuff. I was going to do it today, but I've run out of time, and so I'm going to do it tomorrow just for, just so that people can actually see what's going on with this book. So this is the Anything Goes book. There are no rules to this book. This is a book for you yourself to play in, experiment with, to do things, to learn about your tools, to try new techniques, to practice stuff in a place where no one else can see it. It's just for your own personal experiments. It's a place to record your ideas and make lists of things that you want to try. It is a place to learn how to enjoy the process. And it's okay for all this to be messy, muddy, unorganized. It's okay for this book, the Anything Goes book. It's for you alone. It's not an art journal. So that's what I'm trying to get across with the Anything Goes book. So we're going to do some more stuff in here today. Last week I did just a bunch of gluing in some things. So there's a whole bunch of pages with just some magazine color images put in and some stamped images, some scrapbook paper, some security envelopes, and all kinds of stuff. So I've got some places marked, and I think, oh, here's a serendipity paper, and I'm thinking about putting that piece of serendipity paper in the back just for fun. But anyway, I am thinking that we need to move on with our books and learn how to do experiments and things in here. And one things that a lot of people have trouble with is layering. I am one of those people. I always stop before I should on the backgrounds of pages. If I did more layering on my pages, I think I would enjoy my pages a little bit more. So I am trying to teach myself how to keep going with layering. So we're going to do some layering experiments today with some of those pages that we just scraped some paint on and did some collage bits. We're just going to keep putting some more layers on these pages. So a lot of people struggle with layering. A lot of people. It takes courage. It does. It does take courage to start doing anything, to start doing these books and things. It does take courage. But this Anything Goes book is for you alone. You don't have to share this with anybody. If it does not go the way you want it to go, you haven't lost anything. Try something else. And this is the place to do it so that you have a reference in what you liked, what worked for you. Write a note, this worked for me, this is what I did to get this, and then put it in an art journal or whatever. This is the courage maker. This is the experiments, where trying to do something new, interesting, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to start with this page because it's way in the back, and I think I'm going to go forward. And my thing with layering, I like to use acrylic paint for layering. The only thing is it takes a while for it to dry, and I don't like using heat guns on live streams because they're noisy, very noisy. So I'm going to take this paper clip out so I can do stuff. So I'm going to do some stuff with acrylic paints, but I'm going to try to do that later. And I probably should have grabbed out some wax paper. That doesn't always work for me. Wax paper usually gets glued in. Okay, so this a layer, we could practice doing all kinds of layering because layering can be anything. A single layer, like this, has 3, maybe 4 layers on it already. A layer is anything that you do. If you scrape paint on the page, that's a layer. If you put the crazy lady circles on top of that, that's another layer. If you put collage bits on, those are another layer. So you're putting stuff on top of stuff. Even if you were to just do one circle with one pen or something, that would be a layer, even though it's just in one little part, one little bit. And I have some parchment paper, and I don't have that out either. Does parchment paper stick? Because I did get some at the Dollar Tree, Luana, I got some at the Dollar Tree. I wonder if it would work. So my next layer, I think, since I've got my little homemade squares out here, my next layer is going to be stamping some stuff on here. And I tried to put some tape on here and it didn't work. And the tape's not sticking, and I keep thinking it is sticking and it's not. So I'm having some difficulties in all areas of my life right now. I am having difficulties. It does not stick at all. I think I even know where that is. I might grab some of that and use it between layers today. I think I actually, okay, that is not working for me. So the next layer on this one is going to be these stamped squares. And the more layers you put on your page, the more rich the page looks, the more complicated, the more interesting. And you don't have to put stamps all over. You could put stamps all in just one spot. Kind of like that. And that would still be considered a layer. I'm going to put quite a few of these on. I kind of like this. Oh, yes. Nalisha says she's trying to give herself a new mindset. She's bought a bunch of stuff. I think this is what she's trying to say. She's bought all kinds of supplies. And she doesn't want those supplies to be wasted because she invested in those supplies. So she wants to, I'm liking all these squares. The more I put on, the more I like. So she's invested in products and she wants to learn something new to use all her stuff with. And this is a perfect place to do that. So I'm liking that. That's great, Emma. That helps me a little bit knowing that I'm helping someone even though the video is horrible. So let me grab some parchment paper real fast because I really like this. Yes, yes, I did. I got whole 25 square feet at the Dollar Tree. So I will use that. All right. So now that it's all black and white, I think my next layer, I think I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling. And I'm drinking a whole lot. I'm probably going to have to go grab another iced tea. It's hot here today. Maybe if I put the fan on, I won't be so hot. I'm blowing my napkins around. Blowing my napkins around. All right. So let's do some stenciling. I am going to use this little stencil and I am going to use some of this. I'm going to sneeze. So yeah, is that what? Hi Beth. We are working in the Anything Goes book. We are learning about layering. We're trying to get ourselves to do some layering. Let me see. What do I want to put paint on first, or do I want to? Let's put some ink on. Let's do some purple. Purple makes me happy. So I need another sponge. I am sorry that I am just all over the place today. I have been really, really concentrating on trying to get collage packs finished and out, and I've been wasting a lot of time trying to find stuff, and I'm way behind, and I feel bad. Hello, Jennifer. Finally got power yesterday. Yay. That's a long, long time to be without power. So I am going to, for my very next layer, I am going to use a stencil with some ink. And try to catch up a little bit with the chat. So Nalisha says that she's gathered a bunch of stuff over the years, either inherited or bought stuff, and she wants to use her stuff. I hear ya. I want to use my stuff too. I've got so much stuff. I've got so much stuff that I can't find. And there comes to be a time when you just need to use what you have and not worry about the next newest, coolest thing, and just enjoy using stuff that you already own and learn how to use it, because this new stuff comes around so fast, so often, that we don't get a chance to use it before something new comes along that we've got to buy, and then something new comes along and so we've got 5 new things and never used any of them. Am I the only one that happens to? I get a new stencil, I get a new ink pad, or a new set of pens, or whatever it is, something, and it stays in the package and never gets opened. Debbie's got no time to chat. She's busy layering. Sounds good to me. Like that idea. So you know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this in the recording tomorrow, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit today, is I started doing in the Facebook group Art Experiments, I started doing challenges, different prompts, or it was a list of things to put on a page or a postcard or whatever it was, whatever you wanted to do, a tag or whatever. And there was a list of things to include, and I posted the list, and then you were able to challenge yourself to use the list and do your project with things that you might not normally do or that you hadn't thought about doing before, things that you're using, stuff that you don't normally use. This is getting way, way, way busy, but I am going to continue, and I'm just going to scrape some paint over this to tone it down a tad. We are practicing layers today, and we could be practicing layers forever and ever and ever. Layers are fun to practice, and I want this white over here to go away. And the stenciling is not perfect. It's not perfect at all. It's kind of on the messy side, but I think I'm done with the stenciling. So that is my next layer. How many layers do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 layers. Wow. Layering with glue stick and strips of paper. That's a great way to take notes and try it later. I like that too. I like it when people work along with me, and I like it when people take notes and try. When they try things later, they usually come up with a bunch of different ways to do the same thing, which is kind of fun too. I'm going to put a little bit of, this is it's a metallic, it's a pearl white. I'm just going to put some on this cap here and use a credit card and scrape. It's not white enough. It's not white enough. I need some white. I need white because I needed something to tone this down. So this is just plain old white acrylic paint. We need some of that craziness to go away. Maybe I should use something other than white. Let's mix the both of them together. You can kind of see some of the craziness is kind of mellowing out a little bit. And that's what layers is all about. One of the things that I know that I do, and I know that I'm not alone, got to use up all that little bit of paint. Use my fingers. I get to I do something on the page, and I'm afraid to cover it up. I've spent the time to do all the stenciling. Why in the world would I sit there and scrape paint over it and cover it all up then? Why would I want to do such a thing? And I am scraping little bits of paint that I see that need to be a little thinner so it will dry faster. But you can see that that kind of toned down the what is considered a layer. Anything that you put on the page is considered a layer. If you scrape paint, that's a layer. If you put stenciling on top of that, that's a layer. That's another layer. It's a separate layer. The next layer may be stamping images. The next layer might be these crazy lady circles. Crazy lady circles, that's a layer all by itself. If you put collage pieces on, that's a layer. All those things, every single thing that you do on a page or whatever your project is, every single thing that you do is a layer. So with these challenges that I am going to bring up again, I'm going to bring them back. I'm liking this. And a lot of the challenges are going to be how to layer and how to add things. Let me see here. I know I've got a sponge somewhere. There it is. I have got just a regular kitchen sponge. And I feel like this is still pretty busy. So I'm going to put another layer on top of this. And I'm going to use purple, since I already have purple on here. And I'm going to put it in here. Like that. And I am, so that my paint is all over the place and not it won't blobby onto my, I'm just going to do that. And then I think what I'm going to do is paint a little bit on my sponge. There was too much water on that, my brush. And I am just going to tone down all my craziness here with a little bit of purple paint. And see how that's working? It's not like brushing it on because it gives it little spatters. And you see what happens? It's not brushed on completely. A Posca pen, I could use a Posca pen, but you see how that works? And so I'm adding a little bit of color, but not a solid block of color. So there's my next layer, and I need to clean that. Let me get one of my other Anything Goes books out here so I can use up some of that paint on a page. Kind of like that. Let that dry. All right, so we've got how many layers on here now? I've got so many layers that I don't even know how many layers are on here. We could do a challenge where we do like 25 layers of anything. Can we do 25 layers on a page? Yes, I do have, and I should have used this thing for this, the paint, because that also does the trick, like a sea sponge that has more holes in it. I like the way this looks. I didn't think about that until after, but the sea, yes, a sea sponge would do this a lot nicer with bigger holes and a more abstract look to it. I just happened to know where my kitchen sponge was, so that's what I went for. So I'm going to leave this page as it is for now, and put a piece of parchment paper in there. And then come back to it later. But we've got other pages to do things with. So there's a lot of layering on that. But you see how layering up really makes the page look fun? And doesn't it make you want to come back to that page and do other things later? It does me. And I'm not done layering that page yet. So I'm going to go back to it when it gets a little drier and see what else I could do to it. So I have some more paper clips to mark some of the pages. So this is the next one. Or is it that one? Let's make it this page, because this page looks pretty empty and it looks like it needs something in here. So I usually have my prompt cards to help me when I don't want to do the same things over and over and over again. I do get prompt cards out to make myself do other things, but I'm going to try to do a bunch of stuff today. Whoops. And I don't have a list. I kind of ran out of time. Let's do some pink on this one. And I'm going to use that same sponge through a stencil to put some polka dots on the page. I need more paint. I need some more paint. I like polka dots. Let me put some more paint in there. I like polka dots. Yes, this is true. Yes, this is true multimedia. I am using ink and paint and pens, and if you use more than one type of media, and a media is like paint, anything that you're using to put color on a page, that's what media is. If you use more than one kind, you are doing mixed media and you're fancy. I'm going to call you fancy. We're going to call you fancy. So you can see the polka dots on there. And I am going to take a baby wipe. I usually have another piece of paper. I'll just use a piece of copy paper just to rub that paint off. It's probably too dry now. It is. It's too dry now. Try to get that paint out of my sponge. I usually take it to the sink and rinse it out right away, but I don't like to leave and go to the sink when I'm streaming, so they got polka dots on this piece of paper. This will help me do some painted papers too. It will help me. So I've got polka dots on here now, and I do need to get this stencil kind of clean. I don't know why I'm worrying about it too much. All right. All right. I need to dry this because I think I want to put some stuff on top of it, but I want to do ink, and I don't want to get the acrylic, the wet acrylic paint in my ink pad, so I want to make sure that this is dry. Hi, BJ. Yes, you can do a collage layer first, and then, you know, you can do, if you were going to do 5 layers on a page, say you're going to do a collage layer, a stenciling layer, a stamping layer, a paint layer, and what's something else? Something with pens. You don't have to do it in that order every single time. You could do collage first, stencil, stamp, pens, and what was and paint. Or you could do paint, collage, pens, stencil, stamp. You could do, you're fancy, you could do those in any kind of order at all, and the page, you could use the same colors and the same stamps and the same stencils, and each time you change the layers around, you're going to get a different effect. Now, I've been talking so much that this is pretty much dry now. It is pretty much dry, so I think what I want to do next is I'm going to do some stamping. I always go for black. Why do I always go for black? Does that make any sense? We're going to do some circles. You're on layer number 5, and it's so out of the box for you, Debbie. You don't usually do layering. I don't usually go far enough. And when I was learning how to do my art journals, I would always stop before I should have, because I liked the way it looked. And then I wondered why my pages didn't look like other people's pages, because they continued on and put tons and tons of layers down on their pages and made it look really, really neat. As soon as I figured out that that's where I was lacking, that I liked my pages so much more if I kept going, if I covered stuff up, that was a hard one for me. If I'm going to spend the time to stencil something down, I don't want to put paint over it, but it makes a difference. It makes a big, big difference. There's a layer underneath, and it shows, even though it doesn't show, you know it's there. You can kind of see it underneath the other layers. So, what is the status of fish bits? The status of fish bits, and I probably will have a video out tomorrow for the status of fish bits. They're coming. I don't have I did a bunch of stuff trying to figure out what I was going to put in fish bits, like I did that other video. And I'm thinking I'm going to have 2 or 3 videos to do tomorrow. And I'm looking over here because I've got my fish bits that I gathered. I'm ready to put some of those fish bits together. And here's what I'm thinking. You can't bear to cover up what you've done. You're right there where I was for the longest time. I get that. You don't want to cover up anything that you've done, but when you start doing that, I was one of those people that would yell at somebody, you know, you just stenciled that. Why are you putting paint all over it now? You know, I was one of those people. I constantly yelled at people for that. And I never understood why you spent so much time stenciling and now you're just going to cover it all up with paint. I don't get it. But look at their pages afterwards and see how really cool they are. I'm going to put a little bit of stenciling down. And I'm doing all this with the hopes that you'll see as I'm doing just a little bit of layering here and there, you'll see how the page just kind of starts to become, you know, it has a life of its own. It really just starts popping and becomes interesting. Every little tiny bit, even though sometimes you can't see the little bits, they show. You don't realize how much they show, but they show. So the status of fish bits is I am getting ready to offer them out. I am thinking for fish bits, I don't want to have 2 different packs. I want to have 1 pack of fish bits. Okay, I'm just going to have 1 pack of fish bits, and I'm going to have larger fish bits and smaller fish bits together. I can't even say it. And I have decided and kind of put together a bunch of stuff. Okay, so I've got a little bit of stenciling, not that you can see it very well with this stamp, and I'm going to use this again. But you can kind of see it in some places, right? In some places. You can see the polka dots. What are the fish bits? Let me scrape some paint on here really fast. Which color should I pick? Let's pick a little bit of a peach, I think. Fish bits. I did a whole video. When was it, guys? Did I do it on Tuesday? I think I did it on Tuesday. And I'm just going to cover up all that stenciling that I just did. I did a whole collage, and it's not in here. I have it in the other room. I did a whole signature. With just some little bits of stuff that I collect. I showed my basket of little bits, and a lot of these little bits are missing because I have separated a lot of what I had in here out, but I saved little bits of everything. These are fish bits. Was it before the hurricane? It was kind of, it was because yeah, what would Tuesday have been? Was it before the, I don't know. I did a whole video on, I had put some little bits like this together. I think I put like 150, I put in patches of 50, I put a bunch of stuff together. And then I did a little signature with those little bits, showing how to use the little tiny bits in a signature. So I don't remember exactly when it was. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. For serendipity paper, right. It would be those kinds of things, yeah. All kinds of little bits. So in mine, and I should have gotten together a little sample of it, and I did not get that together. You know what, I could, because I've got my little bins right over here. I could show you what I'm talking about, and I could put it in this little thing. Hi, Kathleen. We were talking about fish bits right before the hurricane, but I think I did collage a signature, and I'm going to wait for this to dry. So I'm going to wait for this to dry. I think I did a signature with fish bits. I think I did a signature on Tuesday. I want to say it was Tuesday. All right. So here are some book pages, some little bits of, actually this is a puzzle page, a puzzle. So that is, I should count these as I do them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. And then I am going to add some words. There's 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then some security envelopes. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. What else do I have here? I've got some, this is a foreign, I think it's Korean. It's a magazine I have that I chopped up in little bits. Some pieces of menu and some pieces of map. You see? You can't see it. So where was I with counting? Don't even know, but here's 4 pieces of those kinds of things. We're going to put those in there. Hi, Kiela. All right. And then we've got a piece of lottery paper. A money band. And a piece of, a piece of coin wrapper. We've got a little bit of packaging. We've got some wrapping paper, a troll's picture, some tissue paper that's stamped a little bit. I have a little bit of manila envelope, and this came out of my ATC thing. And what do you call that? A floor plan for an apartment. We've got a postage stamp and some tickets and some stickers. We have magazine images. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then some more images from magazines, but these are color bits. I like to use those a lot. So that's a few color bits, some text with some color. What else do we have here? Some of that, a little tiny strip. We'll put some of those in there. We've got a stamped fish. Ooh, stamped fish. I've got hands punched out of this book page. And another stamped image. We've got painted papers. Here's crazy lady circles. Some stamped things, some painted papers, some crayon rubbings, some little bits of stuff. These are a little bit bigger than I think I want them to be in the long run. So that is where I'm getting stuck. A gum wrapper, a crayon wrapper, a candy wrapper, and some Joss paper bits. Oops, that didn't land in there. And some scrapbook paper bits. I think these pieces are too large, and I think that's where I'm getting hung up on the little bits. I think they are too large. And I put some of that in and some of that in the words, and then I'm missing, what am I missing? Nope, I think I've got everything. Because these are the fun little bits. And these are just tiny, tiny little bits. Can you see them? This is what I like using. And these are the tiny, tiny little bits that I use of all these kinds of things. I like this size. I use these for details in my collages a lot. So there's painted papers and magazine images and scrapbook papers and book pages and stamped things and security envelopes, and it's just all kinds of little things. And this is what I think really makes the whole thing really cool. So how many bits do we have here? Let's see if I can count them. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. That's 75. 75 little bits. And that doesn't include the tiny, tiny little bits that are the most fun. I find these the most fun. So I am thinking, and I think that these are too large. I think I need a few of the larger pieces. Yes, it's nicer to have a few large pieces, but I think these are just too large. And so I would like to have maybe 100 little bits of something. And that's where I haven't had really a chance to really investigate that yet. So I am thinking about 100 little bits of things from about this size to tiny, tiny. 100 little bits. What do you guys think? And this is now dry, so I can put another layer on. And I think I'm going to pick a different color. Maybe I should layer with some paint. I think I will. Some little gold. Some gold paint. Do I have a stencil brush? No, not really. You know what? Instead of this, no, I'll do that on something else. All right. Do I have you just use a sponge and sponge some gold paint on top. I need more gold paint already. Too large in general. I think I like, when I think of fish bits, I think of little tiny bits. And some of those seem too large, and I don't know why. Correct me if you think otherwise. Let me know what you guys would like. Trying to come up with the perfect assortment of fish bits. It's rough. I need some more gold paint. And you can see, you know, just putting this layer of gold paint on really has, and I'm echoing the pink that I did before with the same stencil. So it's kind of tying all these layers in together. All the layers in together. I'm just trying to use up my paint now. I must decide the scale of the fish bits, huh? I'm going to put that in the water so I can use it again. So, but see, I'm liking this page. It is very complicated and very busy, and there's all kinds of layers on it, but it is very fun and very cool. Can you see all the little bits, the polka dots, and down, scale them down a little bit. There it goes. Scale down the fish bits just a little bit. Yeah, I think that these bits are just a little bit too large. Just a little bit too large. Like that would be better. And I kind of like the window on that, so I'm going to keep that. Maybe I'm just going to glue that in here. And that's probably too big as well. So we'll put that over there. We'll use that. So, and that is probably too big. It's got a fold in it, so I probably should tear that fold. But, you know, I think in the long run, some of the stamped images should be the size that they are. So, I mean, that would be a wonderful little bit. But it takes time to do the stamping and putting them together. It's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. And like I said, I've had other things that I've needed to get done, so I didn't get very far because it did take too much time. I like the silver paper. I like this gold tissue with the squares on it, and that would be really cool on this page right here. So I'm gonna just glue that on with this piece of menu, and of course I don't have my gluing magazine handy, so I will use this parchment paper. So I'm going to put another layer down. I'm going to put it upside down so it's not so obvious, and I'm going to put this down. Kind of like that. So that adds something to that page. And this page is definitely not done. I can probably do a little bit more stamping. On top of maybe something a little thicker than that. Do we have something that's thicker than that? Let's see here. Ooh, these circles. Let's put some paint on these. And put another layer down. Layering can be really fun if you let yourself go, Debbie, and put things on top of other things that you've already done. I know it's hard. I know. I know. But it's really fun to do and really fun to see the unexpected little bits that you get when you do it. I need a wet one. That one dried up. And that's my last wet one. I need to go get my other package. So now you can see that other layer on there, and it just ties. I know you are, Tibby. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you out. But you can see how putting stuff on top of that collage elements kind of ties it together. So it doesn't look like something was just plopped right there on top. Okay? So it's a lot of practice, and this is the Anything Goes book to practice in. Right? Right? All right. So I think this one is pretty dry. So I'm going to put this parchment paper in here and go to another page. I'm going to come back to this page. I'm not done layering this page up. I am just trying to get you guys to understand how easy it is to put a bunch of layers, and this one's got a bunch of layers on it already. So this one, I'm going to take the clip out of it. This one has 3 or 4, 5, 6 layers on it already with some pencils and some other stuff. And this was the stencil I used for that. So I am going to continue on with this stencil and use the same stencil for the next layer. And I'm going to use Inka Gold, a little bit of Inka Gold in silver. I'm going to put it here. And I do spray my Inka Gold with a little bit of water. It makes it kind of like a watercolor consistency with a little bit of water on it. And it's not quite so thick, and it still shimmers as nicely. Let's get all that water mixed in there. I'm just going to clean that off on the pages underneath here somewhere so I don't lose any of that. And I've got my sponge out here, so let's see how that works. I haven't used Inka Gold with a sponge. And I think I like it. I do, I do. I do, I do. You are doing something exciting, Debbie. You are. I love seeing your pages. Love them. Love them a lot. So I am enjoying that quite a bit. I don't know if you can see it, but it added a shimmer in the same shape that's underneath. Can you see the different areas that have the Inca gold on them? It's the stencil is put in a slightly different place. And you can see here where I drew around, oh, I've got some kind of gold something there. I drew around the stencil here. I think I used color pencil for this one, the Inca gold on top, and it's all kind of echoing each other. So it's fun to see the different layers and the different areas and how the stenciling over that piece of magazine, the stenciling kind of blends that in. Hi, Susan. It blends it in the page. It would if it wasn't lines on it like that. But that, just one little layer right there, added quite a bit of fun stuff to this page. Uh-oh. And I had some kind of paint on there. Now I've got it all over. Gobs of it. Little bits. All right. I'm kind of liking the way that is, and I'm going to let that dry. So this one we worked on last Sunday, I think. And there's quite a few layers on this guy. This guy, I think I did some stenciling with an ink pad, then I used a pen and did circles around it, put some collage things on. I stamped some bits on there, added some circles. There's quite a bit of stuff on here, but it looks pretty plain to me still. So I am going to add some blue. And I said, you know, this has quite a bit of texture to it. So I'm going to show you what kind of texture it adds. I need more paint. And I like to go over the edges. I think this needs a whole lot of color put on it. And I did mean to get a piece of plastic. And I've got a bunch of color on here that I don't want to waste. So let me just scrub it off on another page. Try to clean it up a little bit. Just like that. Just a little bit. See, I don't like using acrylics while I'm streaming because now I feel like I need to go clean this off in the sink so I don't have paint in it next time I want to use it. It just drives me crazy, and it shouldn't, but it does. Where was I? Oh, here I am. Here I am. So I like that little bit of blue that it adds. Hi, Great. You should see your desk, Debbie. My desk is pretty messy, too. All right. So then I can take a baby wipe, and where was I? Where was I? And use that last little bit and so I don't like to waste any paint. None. Pretty bad, huh? Pretty bad. Since I'm here, I might as well add some paint to this. Right? Because I did this last week. So, hi, LE. You're far too controlled, Debbie. Far too? Far too? You made an Anything Goes book. And so you're here to do some layering in your Anything Goes book. Where was I? Where was I? That page is not dry yet, so I don't want it to be closed. Uh-oh, I've lost the page. Here it is. It's not dry yet, so it's got to stay this way. All right, so it needs some more color. It's far too white for me. Dixie. Hello, Dixie. And some signatures. Thank you. Thank you. You like the collages? Thank you. I like working in signatures. So I think this needs more stuff. Don't know what yet. It needs more layers. Maybe I should put some light blue down. Use a wet baby wipe and put some color down on here because it's way too busy. Way too busy. You can see, let me add just a little bit more paint with the wet baby wipe. Adding a little bit of water to your acrylic paint will make it more transparent so you can see the layers underneath a little bit better. So you can see the difference between this side and this side. Look how drastic, contrasty that side is. And then go over here and see how things are kind of blended together a little bit. And you see the difference between those two pages? It makes a big, big difference. So let me do a little bit on the other side too. I'm using quite a bit of paint. It's a nice light color too, so. I don't want to cover all of it, but you can see how it's blended that page together quite a bit. So it looks like a background now. All right. Hello, Nick. And I'm going to have to put, is this page dry enough? That's stuck a little bit. That metallic paint like sticks to everything, no matter what. Is that dry? Dry enough? Let me just get another piece. Let me leave that one in there for a little bit. get another piece of this parchment paper. It needs to be quite that big. Put that in there so it doesn't stick, and we'll come back to that later when it is dry. So here's another one that I did some stamping on, put some collage pieces, but it seems pretty, it's a lot of contrast. And I like my backgrounds to be backgrounds. I don't necessarily want them to be this contrasty. Is that a word? Is that even a word? I am going to put, actually I've got this stuff that I would really like to use up. I didn't use it before I left Alabama, and it's really horrible. It's really thick. I should add some water to it and just get it used. It's so thick. It's just too thick. Stir it in some water, because it doesn't even pour. Use my chopstick. My baby wipe. Get some of that wiped around. It's way too thick. Way too thick. And it does not want to get out of this thing. I'm determined to use this stuff up. I hate this stuff, but I don't know. I paid good money for it, so I'm going to use it. Ooh, alcohol sprays. That sounds cool. So let me wipe this paint around, kind of thin it out a little bit. And that is really wet because I added quite a bit of water to it. So my pages are going to start ripping here because these pages are really thin. So I actually need to grab my other baby wipe container. Yeah, I need to, okay, I'm going back to chat a little bit. I am so glad you like your page, Luana. You're doing a lot of layering there. I can see all the different layers you've got on there. Maybe this will dry faster. You probably need to use the heat tool on it just a little bit, because I want to add some more stuff to this page. It's boring. It's very boring. I want to add some stencils and some stuff to this. You haven't had the aha moment, Emma? Yeah, I need to dig that. I just need to use up that paint. and just get rid of it, because these containers are horrible. They're horrible. They're hard to open. They get paint on the lids, and then they paint themselves shut. They're horrible. You like the page with the new paint? It is really, really wet. I'm going to use the heat gun just a little bit. Let me try not to move the camera, but all my cords are sitting right here all together. And this is not good. Sorry, guys. I am going to try to use a little bit of heat to dry this page up just a little bit. So sorry for the noise. You got yours at Tuesday morning. I've had this paint that I'm trying to get rid of. I've had it for 15 years. And I'm surprised that it's not completely dried up by now. So it just needs to be used and to be done with altogether. Well, thank you, Nick. This channel does have a great community. Hi, May. Are you part of the Facebook group, Nick? Because you can see a bunch of stuff that people have done in the group. A lot of people do post their pictures of things that they're working on. And Vicki is out of town right now. She does all the new members, so she's not there to do it today. But she should be back in a few days. If you put in a request to join Art Experiments on Facebook, I'm sure she'll get you in as soon as she can. You'll get there, Emma. You'll get the courage. You'll get the courage, and you'll feel so much better when you actually do it. It's not as bad as it seems like it. The very first time is really hard. I know it is. The very first time that you post something it's difficult, and I get that. I'm kind of shy myself, so I understand that completely. But once you start posting and getting feedback from other people, it gets easier. It does get easier. And I got some of my little bits are coming up because I got quite a bit of water underneath them. So I'm just gonna glue some of this stuff down again. See, it doesn't want to go down. So make sure I've got glue on it. There we go. And that bit came up. I put quite a bit of water on this page. Surprised it dried as quickly as it did. So I like that. And I think what I want to do is stamp some more of that pattern on top of the paint to kind of blend that in. Where stamp pad did I use? I think it was this one. I think. And if it's not, then oh well. I do think that was it. So then I've got some of the stamps on top and some of them on the bottom. So both of these stamps are two different layers because they're in between other layers. So they are considered their own separate layer. Thanks, Emma. You're in England. May is from Norway. I'm going to put one right there. I do kind of like that. And I feel like it needs more stuff. So I think I'm going to stencil. Let's see, what stencils have I not used yet? I haven't used this. I think I need another makeup sponge. Put some little chevrons. Let's make the chevrons go down. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's the same way up or down. It just seems it should go this way. I don't know why. So I am going to put a little bit of this stencil in places. Blending all those little collage bits. Thank you. I think you can find that still at Hobby Lobby. I think I saw it there not too long ago. I've had that for a very long time. It's one of those that seem to be a staple. Do some over here, and you can see, I hope you can see that putting things on top of things, it really makes the page interesting. And then you can add more collage bits on top, or draw something, or add more stenciling, more stamping. You just can keep on making layers and layers and layers. The more layers, the happier the other layers are. The more the merrier. So that is that one. And you can already see how the page is building. It's building. I really enjoy stenciling, and you can tell that I don't stencil the whole entire stencil. I use just a little bit of stencil in all kinds of places. It blends the page together. I like the way it looks. That's just what I do. You can try, you know, however you want to try that, but I do like that. And I think I'm going to try some more stenciling. I love the way that looks. So I'm going to try a different color. This is cranberry. I was using raisin. So now I'm going to do cranberry. And I am going to use this diamond and stencil some of this diamond in places on top of the other stencil and the stamping. For another layer. It's all about layers today. We're going to do all kinds of layering. And that's what I'd like you guys to do this week, is practice layering. The more you practice, the more you see of your own pages, the more you're going to like what you're doing. And the more you like what you're doing, the more fun you have doing it. Right? Right? You like the look? It could be peeking out from other layers like an old painting. Yes. Yes. Layers like to peek out from other layers. They really do. So I'm liking this more and more. All right, so I'm going to put this one away, and I am going to use this. It's crimson, but it's actually turned into pink. It's not really crimson anymore. So let's see, what other stencil should I use? I am going to use, should I use that one? I'm going to use this one with this other color. And add some circles. Oops. So you can layer the stencils too. Put stencils on top of other stencils. That adds interest as well. Stencils and stamps. Hi, Linda. How is everyone doing today? I didn't ask. I just was so frustrated when I started. Is it buffering, or what's it been doing? Am I still sounding weird? This drives me crazy when this stuff happens. It really drives me crazy. So I am liking that, and I could just keep building and building and building on top of this. Let's see, I've got this plum, different color, and I have got this pot holder. Let's add some texture. Let's see if it will work. Yes. Layer, layer, layer. Just keep going. When you think you've done enough, do some more. It really makes a difference. It really does. I know it doesn't seem like it should, but it does. So look at all the layers on there. Hello, Tina. Nice to see you. It's still jerky and out of sync. I'm sorry. It's just really aggravating for me. It really, really is. to know that it is like that for people. It really, really is. So I've got this lightning black, and I think I am going to use this stamp again. And put some of that on top. This one might be going dry, so it'll just add a little bit of texture. In just some places, not very much, a little bit though. A little bit. Hi, Karen. It's time to get to wild journaling. Has it been a while? Were you without power for a while, Tina? And this has become very, very busy. Very, very. So to tone it down just a tad, I'm going to add a little bit of gold paint. Just a little bit. I'm going to actually drip it right on the page. And I am going to take a credit card and make it thinner. Really make it crazy. I don't know how many layers that is, but it's a lot. Make sure it's nice and thin. I always like gold. Hi, Betty. I am a gold fiend. I like the metallics. Anything metallic, I'm all for it. So that kind of blends all that craziness together a little bit. And here's the thing about layering. If it's still too much, put some more on. I could put some white on there and really, really tone it down. Watching a scary movie and the lights go off, it reminds you of that. Aww. This is quite busy. So I'm not going to take white. I think I'm going to take this peach color because I've got some peach underneath. That's what I started with. I started with this one, but I don't want to use that one again because it's horrible. So I am going to spread a little bit of this peach. Now I'm going to use this palette knife and kind of thin it out. Over the gold in places. Just to blend all that craziness together, just a little tiny bit, or maybe just a little bit more than that. And this is turning out to be quite an interesting background. Right? That and some water. So it's toned down quite a bit. I could put some other stuff on top of that. And it makes a really nice background. Put some more stamping on there. You know, whatever. It's all about layering. It's not so much, you know, what you're ending up with. It's actually putting the layers on. It's fun. You know, once you get over the fear of covering something up, it can be a lot of fun. And I covered up quite a bit of the gold. So I'm just going to dab a little bit of gold with a baby wipe. So I took off too much of the gold. I want it to be gold. I want it to be gold. I did a lot of gold and peach kind of colors today, didn't I? There we go. So I like that. Bye, Emma. I have lost count too. So I had, all right, so let's see if I can figure this out. How many layers is on this page? I had on here a layer of this stamp, collage, and a layer of peach acrylic paint before I even started. And then I added another layer of peach acrylic paint. I added more of this stamp. I added the chevron stencil, the diamond stencil, and the bullseye stencil. I stamped this thingy. What do you call that? This thingy. Then I stamped with the gold black with this stamp, and then I added gold paint, and then I added peach paint, and then I added more gold paint. So that's 13 layers. Hi, Linda. Oh, really? Just a couple hours ago, Linda. Congratulations. Good to hear. Wow. So no damage from Irma, but no power for a week. Ah, I remember those days. That's what happened to me in Wilma. It's not fun. It is not fun. So that is a 13 layer background. 13 layers. And we could go on. I could put more layers on here. I'm feeling like I could add some more stuff. I could put some collage bits on here and more stamping. And I don't think that I'm done. I think I'm done for the moment because it's wet. But I mean, I'm loving these whole pages, all these pages. I am enjoying all the pages that we did today. That one is dry, so I'm going to put that in between. Find another page to do something more on. I do have more paper clips. Oh, see, look. We just got some collage bits on this one. What should we do? What should we do? I am going to add just some regular white paint. And I am going to use a baby wipe and just smear it around. And that makes the text kind of blend out, so it's not quite so easy to read. Takes away some of the lines in the paper too. Just like that. Like that. It definitely needs help. All right, all right. I need my other baby wipes. Brand new baby wipe container. See if I can get it started here. Just one. Just one. I guess I get more than one. I guess I get more than one. And I've got paint inside there now that since I've got so much paint on my hands. All right. So now that is 2 layers on this one. Let's just go fast this time and see what we can do. I am going to use this plastic. It went over tangerines or clementines or something. And I'm going to use some red paint. And scrape it over. See what happens. I don't normally do this, and it looks like it's going to be too thick. Yeah, it's too thick. So I'm just going to not do that. And I do like the way that looks. And that's all I'm doing is just experimenting with stuff that I have. Using up my paint that I don't want anymore. Trying to get to the edges of the pages as well, because I always forget to do the edges. Okay, so there's one layer. I'm going to wipe that up so that it doesn't dry before I get a chance to clean it. Let's see. What else can I do? Do we do another stencil with another thing of paint? I like... Bye, Luana. I do like teal and red, so I'm going to try a little bit of that. And I probably should do a different sponge because that one's got red in it. And it's just mixing up my, okay, mixing up those two colors. I'm going to make mud. So I'm just going to use this old baby wipe here. It's kind of dry. And I need more of that. I'm going through a lot of paint here. This paper is soaking up the paint. Just like that. I do tend to make my pages too busy, but I like them that way. A little too busy. So that needs to dry, and we're almost out of time, so I'm just going to let that dry. I need to make some more papers. So I'm hoping the recording will be okay for those people that are watching the recording. I am working on this problem. Hope to have the problem fixed soon because it's making me angry. And I'm planning on some videos for tomorrow to do some more of the same kind of stuff. And to talk about the fish bits. I'll make a decision by then, hopefully. And that's about I thought I had blue over here. I don't have blue. I've got this one though. It's pink. I don't want pink. I want blue. I want blue. Where's my blue? Here's my blue. Well, it's more of a teal. It's more of a teal, so I'll leave you with that. I'm just going to do some spraying on here and let it dry. I have learned to like layers. It took me a long time to learn to like layers, but I like layers now. Okay, this spray bottle is horrible. Extremely, extremely horrible. So that's what the whole day today was all about, is layers. And I hope you guys do a bunch of layers in your Anything Goes books and your art journals and on your tags and postcards and ATCs and everything else. It didn't work real well. Oh well. Oh well. So I want to say goodbye to everybody. Yep, it's been 2 hours. And hope to see you at Art Experiments. Like I said, Vicky's gone for a couple more days, I think. She does all the Art Experiments people joinings. So it'll be a couple of days, I think, before she can get to that. And I want to thank you all for being here. If you like the Anything Goes book, press the like button below, and I'll have an idea that you guys want more of the Anything Goes book. And I will be back with Anything Goes book Sunday next week. Tuesday I will be live streaming at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to talk about fish bits and painty papers, I think, because I need to make some more painty papers. So I think that's what we're going to do. So goodbye, everyone. Thanks for being here.